Hello and welcome back to Garrett's Guides to Embers. Today we are going to be looking at the different aspects of Roll20, the system in which we play under, what these different tooltips on your left and top right are going to do, and we're also going to be having a mock combat with a few other individuals on the server, which will allow us to show you the basics of combat on Roll20 and in D&D in general. And we're going to take it a little bit slow to help go through it in case we have any beginners watching. So to start us off, we're going to be looking at our tooltips over here on the left side of the screen. These basically control what your mouse is going to do and allow you to roll dice. So first we have our pointer. This allows you to select such move. So if I take this token here of Jin, who is who I'm going to be playing today, I can move it around and generally move it about the map as necessary. You can also do our pan view, which lets you drag and move around the map. You can also scroll if you have it in pan view in your settings, which we'll be looking at later. And that is another way to pan. Next we have our brush here, which this lets you create a various amounts of things and place them on the map. So let's say you have a spell that creates a 20-foot cube. You can select our little draw shape here for the square and draw a cube, stretching it out as you wish. You can also do that with circles and draw some nice shapes. There's also freehand drawing should you wish to draw something else within the circle. And generally ways to help illustrate where you're pointing, where you're looking to do things, and other such drawing activities that you may wish to do or need to do within a setting of a quest. Another thing you can do with our mouse here that I just recalled is if you hold down with left click, you ping. This is another good way to point out what you're looking at. So if I want to point at Zevin here, hey, I'm looking at Zevin, I can simply hold down left click and draw attention of everybody towards it, as everybody can see that ping. Next on our little one here, we have draw a line, which this is a simple making a line tool. You left click, left click, left click, and when you right click, you end that line source and can make another one. Clear all that out real quick, but that is our drawing tool. You can also use text through this tool. So if I do this here, get this little menu up here to decide the font, the size of that font. If I go over here, I believe the DM should be able to assign that to me, but that is another tool that comes with this. Next we have our zoom, allows you to decide how zoomed in you want to be. You can also find this up here. You can do specifically minus or plus 10% to look at a little closer, a little further away of the different parts of the map. Next we have our ruler. So this comes with a various amount of settings, but it allows you to see the distance of things from your location. So each square within 5e Dungeons & Dragons is 5 feet. So as you can see when I click on Jin and then point around, it is 5 feet away in various directions. And if you stretch it out, it'll give you the direct distance. So currently I'm about 25 feet away from Zevin, about 30 from Yala. So if you have something like a spell or weapon that has a specific range in which you can attack, then you are able to see that distance and know that you are within range or not within range. There's a few different settings you can adjust here, like snap to corner. So if you're making that one cube like we did earlier, you can see the corner and the edges of it, which when you are in any arrow mode, if you right click, you'd be in a new path for the arrow. And here you can see it shows the cube stretching out. Could also do like I'm walking this way, and that's 60 feet of movement. Various other ways that you can utilize this tool. It's a very good measuring of distance. And then, of course, no snapping will make it where it's not connected directly to the center side of a square. And it's going to give you these funny point values. But you can change that as you wish. You can also hide it from others. So if I do it like this, only the GM on this server can see it, which currently is Jake or Ark. And then our next tool down the line is our rolling tool. So you can see here we have the various die you will have within D&D, such as our D20, and then moving down through the values of 4 and 2. So simply click on the one you want to roll, and it'll roll it over in our text chat over here. You can also hide it and make sure it only goes to the DM, so if I want to do a secret D20 roll, now only our DM can see it. And those are the gist of our tools over here on the left. You can also set up night mode, where all of your stuff goes into a more dark mode, which I am not fond of, so I tend to keep mine in light mode, as the purple and black is kind of strange to me. So looking over here at our top right section of Roll20, there are various different categories and tabs that switch around this section here. This one here is one that's mainly used for DMs to pick pictures. It can't really be used by players, so we're going to be skipping over it. Next is the journal. This is where you can find your character sheets. You can open up your character. So if I click on Jin here, it'll open up Jin's sheet, as we've seen within the character creation guide that we did previously. So I'm going to exit out of that. You can also drag out a token. So since her token is set up, I can move it over here, and we get a copy of the token that's already in place. And then anybody can do that with characters they control. So because I don't control Orion, when I open it up here, all I can see is the image. But as you saw with Jin, I can see everything on it because the DM has assigned that sheet to me. So that's our journal tab. Next we have the compendium. This is where you can search on many details within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. You can find things like conditions. If you click on this, it pulls up a page that reads through all of the different conditions you can have within the system. You could be blinded, charmed, and then what effect comes alongside them. You can also use it to look up things like spells, as we did in our character creation video. So if we do shield, which is a very broad term, because it also will give you the item shield and the various versions of that, spell shield. And then, of course, anytime you open these up, you get the direct description of it. And as we looked in the character creation video, you can drag and drop these onto your sheet, either in item form or in spell form, and it'll automatically upload them to your sheet should they exist within the compendium, which does have a good amount of information. It does not have all the spells, it does not have all of the newest rulings, but it's a very broad amount. So next, this is another DM one, as is this one. So looking at our settings, you can change your display name, which is what will show down here for the other players. As you can see, one of our individuals has changed their name to the character they will be playing in our mock combat. So I could do the same, change mine to Jin Hole, and it will change down there. Whenever I hit enter, it will knock it in, and that is our display. Another important one for you to be able to do, the rest you can explore on your own, is our video display. This is what affects these names down here. So off the bat, it is going to be set to regular, where you can see everybody's player icons, the different icons they've chosen to represent themselves. You can change that to be larger or smaller, or simply the names. I do names as that conserves space and makes it a little easier for me to see everything going on. You can also move these around should you wish to hide them off and get the full picture. I'm going to collapse all these up here. But that is our different settings. There's also different things you can do with dice, text chats, so on and so forth that you can explore on your own. But with that, we are going to move into our mock combat. Let me go get our call and get myself unmuted in there.
An HP.
Alrighty, are we ready?
We are ready.
Yes, we are.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Well,
Let
if
me
you guys,
drag you over to the page.
if you guys want to introduce yourselves and your character.
Alright, let's start with me first then, since I'm on the top. My name is Orion Tidecaller. I am a paladin of the open sea. Background of a harbor folk, a simple man living off the fish of the sea and selling them at reasonable price. But one day I was called by Velenwyn, god of explorers and storms, to roam the world to those who could not breathe. Paladin of the open sea, I specialize in close quarters combat with a little bit of healing. That is my Tidecaller.
Alrighty. And then since I'm next down the list, you all know me. I am Garrett. I'll be playing Jin Hole, who is a divination wizard with various amounts of spells that are going to do a little bit silly things and hopefully help us through, though I am a little bit squishier than the others.
Right, last of all, of the players, it's me. I am the Innocent Magus, Marcus, whichever you prefer, and I am playing Stephen, the Life Cleric, whose humble background in being just a traveller, because he used to be a stay-at-home cleric and then decided no longer be one. The brightest backstory, the deepest of backstories, right here.
And I am the just and benevolent DM, Ark. It's my duty to make sure these people have a quote-unquote fun experience. For me, at least.
Alrighty.
We all know fun is a sum value, net neutral value.
Fun is a relative term now, isn't it?
Yeah. Death is
So
perfectly
let me
fun.
drag you over to the battle map. Feel free to place yourselves right here. I devised
I'll
something
drag
simple yet
myself
elegant.
out.
Not much story behind it, besides your party would be walking along a nondescript forest and would come across a small band of goblins. You're free to do as you wish.
Right. Let's initiative then.
So this brings us
Yes.
to initiative. In
Let
order
us
to do
roll
initiative,
initiative.
I mean, just because they're waving their weapons at us, are we sure they wish to fight us?
so this does
They
bring us
wish
to
to fight.
initiative. And in order to do initiative, you simply click on your token, click on your sheet, go to initiative up here, and pop.
Oop.
Beep.
Ooh. For a
Also, I'm
plus
going to
0.
set my
That's
output to
actually pretty
all,
good.
as it's currently set to
Ah,
self.
boop.
Nobody but myself
Above
can see the
average.
rolls I make.
Never
Click on
mind.
this.
Boop.
And here we have our initiative.
And we're
It's gonna be a
immediately
bad day if
having
all
a
these goblins
minor
go before us.
problem.
Oh no.
Oh, no, you rolled the self, didn't you?
Even worse, I select my character and I get nothing when I click initiative.
Is everybody okay?
The
That
token
is a
is
simple
not set
fix.
up, it would seem.
Yes, I got you.
Yes, this is something that can occur sometimes
They
when
might
How about
tokens
now?
are not
be
connected.
causing a
They
problem.
all of them literally. Oh no.
I'm going to
I
stop
am
talking
real.
behind the scenes now.
You are real.
Oh no.
Okay. Place this in descending order. It appears the goblins shall be going first. So, the first red group shall approach the party. This one shall move 30 feet towards Stefan. Ah. Alright,
Record
thank
those on
you,
my
Garrett.
sheet.
The goblin will slash at Stefan once. Does a 6 hit.
No.
Okay, then you take no damage this turn. The second red goblin will slide past its bigger and more muscular friend. Go for the paladin. And we'll do the same. We'll slash once. Does a 12 beat your AC, my friend?
Fortunately, it does not. Goblin.
That will be the end of Red's turn. On Green's turn, I think they're going to take a more defensible position and fire one short bow attack at both the paladin and the cleric again. Keep things nice and simple. So, does a 22 hit the paladin?
Unfortunately.
That would be 4 piercing damage.
Okay, I will take 4 damage.
And then an 11 to hit the cleric.
No.
Okay, understood. Next up, the Devastator. A more spell casty type of goblin. It stares over to Jin. Perhaps a caster battle could commence here now. So I believe he will start by throwing a little bolt of energy at you.
We can talk about
Does-
this.
No, we can't. Does a 19 hit the wizard?
It do indeed. My AC is 12.
That will be 13 force damage.
So since it hit my AC, that means I am damaged. With the
Ow.
19 to hit, goes past my
Ow,
12.
indeed.
But,
Hobgoblin's
as you
turn,
can see,
and
my
all
HP
the
is down to
monsters went
7 out
before
of
you.
20.
Hob will come over to the paladin and will slash once with its longsword. And will unfortunately roll a 9. Ari and Tidecaller, it is now your turn. What do you wish to do?
Alright. So, these people have hurt us. See? So, I want them to be not on my person. So, I'm going to I am going to use a bonus action, activate Fury of the Tides, as water springs forth from the ground, from the fresh water bound to the ground. My trident will then be covered in a swirling mass of water as I strike at the
You-
hobgoblin first.
Okay.
Actually, Instead of that, I will move here.
Okay.
Be in a better
Okay.
position for my friend.
The original goblin will take an opportunity attack as it
She will.
left his reach. Yes. It will use its reaction. Let's see. Does an 11 hit you?
It does not.
Okay, you may proceed.
All right, I will strike at this hobgoblin.
You may do so.
Have at thee.
A
19 to
19
hit
most certainly does hit and does some chunky
6
amount of damage.
for some 6 piercing damage. And due to the fact that he was hit by me once per turn during the duration, when I hit a creature with a weapon attack, I can choose to push the target 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
If he is pushed into an obstacle or another creature, it takes bludgeoning damage equal to my charisma modifier. So, given the fact that this hobgoblin is right in front, Goblin Boy, he will take an additional 2 charisma damage.
2 charisma damage. Got it.
Well, 2 damage equal to my charisma modifier. 2 damage. Takes 8 damage overall.
Understood. That
It's my turn.
understood. Jen.
Okay, we are going to back up 10 feet. And then we shall be casting Wither and Bloom, centered right here,
Okay.
giving off this area of a 10-foot radius and having them, I don't know why my output is not set to all, having them all make a Constitution saving throw, so those 3 goblins.
Got it. It does not matter if this one saves. It has taken enough damage to be killed quite easily.
Alrighty. And then are either of you 2 hurt?
Yes, I have taken 4 damage.
Go ahead and roll a hit die.
Perfect. Hit die. So I'll use.
Which hit die can be found up here next to your
Mhm.
HP. And then you simply click
And-
on the D of it, and it will give you the option to output a certain amount.
I put a certain amount. I will use 1 hit die. I will gain 4
And then plus my intelligence, so plus 3 to that, so 7.
So I'm at full. I'm at full
Aha.
health now.
And
we
with
have-
this very powerful and healy spell, you see as the rest of the goblins also fall to this necrotic wither and bloom. Stefan, it's your turn.
Yes, Stefan's turn. We shall be moving up to our full gnomish speed of 25 feet. Fear
is quite
our
fast.
legs. Indeed. And then we will be using a bonus action to be casting a spell. The one
Okay.
known as Spiritual Weapon.
A modern classic.
Indeed. It shall be used to target this poor creature. I should have
That poor
called that out
creature is
before I
no
said it.
longer a creature. That is a corpse, my dear
Spear.
friend.
It is a carbon stain on the floor.
Indeed. Okay, would you like me to draw your weapon or... Oh, thank you.
I believe nothing is more terrifying than a single
There you
ring.
can see him using the artist tool
Okay.
to make that circle.
I'm thinking that's why I'm going to then toll the news, or tolling the dead, as I'm now spending an action to cast a cantrip. Because you can
Yes.
cast a level spell and a cantrip in the same round if you're using a bonus action and an action.
Yes, you can. Okay, that is a wisdom saving throw,
Indeed.
which this goblin will unfortunately fail, as it hears the tolling of the dead, and unfortunately meet its fate.
But there it appears I've made a mishap with how I set it up. It only accounted for one of the damages, as this is unharmed, isn't it?
Yes, but it is still within the limits of a D8. No, isn't it?
Well, technically true. That would be the D12 option. So should I not? Should you wish me to reroll, or shall we keep it as
No,
it
it's
is?
fine. I shall take the 8 because it is still within a D8.
Now then, with
Is
my
that your
action,
turn?
my bonus action and movement spent, I am ending my turn.
Understood. Next comes the Devastator, as he will see most of his goblin horde has been quite vanquished by this very amazing party. He shall approach you, Stefan. Try to give you a bonk on the head with his quarterstaff. With his action, he shall bonk and gets a 9, and unfortunately miss.
Well, he tried.
Arian,
All right, my turn. Perfect. Now, given the fact that he so graciously and helpfully moved in front of my cleric friend, I will move behind him to get flanking,
okay.
which in our beautiful universe offers a +2 bonus to attacks. And I will hit this man with my trident, and hopefully deal a mighty blow to this creature.
You may do so.
19 to hit.
That most certainly does hit.
All right, so
Mhm.
we have extra things to do. Now, since he takes 8 piercing damage, +2, so he takes 10 piercing damage from the hiss because he is moved in front of in front of my friend. And so I will also my trident will start glowing in beautiful energy as I smite this heathen.
Understood.
And I assume he is not a fiend or a devil.
He is not. He
So
is
I
a
will
goblin.
roll 2d8 and hopefully end with unfortunately with a for 5 extra damage. So he's taking 15 damage overall.
It is good damage nonetheless.
Yes,
Is that your turn?
that is my turn.
Jin, it is your turn.
See the last enemy we can see?
Yes, he is the last enemy you can see.
Alrighty. I'll move slightly forward. And I will fire off a chromatic orb at it.
You may do
Choosing-
so.
Choosing the damage type. I'm actually going to upcast that using my last 2nd level slot here. Giving it a
Understood.
bit more oomph. I will be choosing acid damage. Since this
Acid
allows me that
damage?
choice.
24 does hit and does very chunky damage. Stefan, it is your turn.
I now find myself in melee range. That is not advantageous for me. I'm going to
It
take
is
an
not.
action called the disengage action, which means no attack opportunity, and I'm getting away. And we're moving 25 feet back over this direction. Now, as a bonus action, we're going to use the spiritual weapon and move it 20 feet. 5, 10,
Okay.
15, 20! It does not get flanking, but it gets to attack, and that is just as fun.
A 13 is just enough to hit this creature.
That is good for me. And that would be my movement, my action, and my bonus action. I'm ending my turn.
Understood. The Devastator will use its bonus action to disengage. It's right here. And look towards Jin one final time as he fires one more bolt of energy towards her. He will get a 22 to hit.
Oh. Oh dear. That will indeed hit.
For 11 force damage.
And I am downed. Which more or less means I am unconscious and I begin those death saving throws on my shoot.
And hopefully that won't have to happen, as I will move up to this creature. And seeing as it almost felled my friend, I am none too pleased with this creature's behavior. So I will move. So, quick question, DM: is this a tree?
That is, in fact, a tree.
Okay. So if I were to move here and
You may
strike it
push him
and
back.
hit, am I pushing back and deal extra damage? Perfect. Thank you. I will attempt to strike this creature.
I will.
Ha!
Oh.
Oh no, I
was
rolled a
gonna use
natural
divinity.
1.
Oh wait, I'm down. Never mind.
That will be a critical miss.
That's unfortunate.
All right,
But
is that your
I
turn?
will. But I will do something. I will make sure that my friends are are with me. So I will be here, and if he tries to move away, even though he has disengaged, he won't. At least I will be able to be behind him. All right, that is my turn.
Jin, if you do not mind, roll to GM.
And switching output. Going to death. Boop.
That is understood.
So that will be a
Stefan?
success.
Your friend remains in mortal combat with a goblin spellcaster, as your friend beside you is unconscious.
And now I can help both of them. First, we will be moving to Jin, right there, and we'll be using an action to cast the first level spell, Cure Wounds. Now, normally, that would deal 9 points of healing. Unfortunately, I am a life cleric. As a result, I get to do this funny little thing. Disciple of Life that lets me add 2 plus spell level, which in this case is 1, so an additional 3 points of healing, for a total of 12. And it's good to be me. Now, I do still have a bonus action, and I do still have a spiritual weapon. So I mix these two things, and I once again will attempt to hit this last goblin.
You may do so. That is just enough damage to finish this goblin off. And as no players are unconscious, we are out of initiative.
And then I will do a free action to do a little jig.
And I will go over
Understood.
and help our down wizard get back up.
Thank you kindly.
Anytime, citizen.
Yes. And with that, I believe that is the end of our mock combat. So I thank you all for your assistance today, and I'm going to go do a few things to wrap up the video. So, farewell.
Farewell.
Fare thee
Have a
well.
wonderful video.
No. Alrighty, so it did occur to me during that fight that I had not explained a little bit more about tokens. So with our token on the ground, you can click on your token and it pops up this little menu here, which shows a red bar, a green, and a blue. So as you can see with green, this represents my health. So if I were to input this here, it goes to 13. Others should be able to see it if their tokens are set up properly. You won't be able to see the value of the number in game, but you will be able to see the green bar, giving you the rough estimation of how healthy your ally is looking. And of course, the blue is my AC, which is what they need to roll above in order to hit me, which with those solid 20s, that creature was very well able to hit me and knock me down. So what I used as indicators for being down are called the stamps. There are various icons that you can add to your character simply by clicking on them. So I can do this. You can add as many as you wish, and it's just going to continue to get smaller and smaller as it tries to fit into your token's area. There's also the way to add some numbers to your stamps. Simply do this by clicking on the number on your keyboard. So if I click 1 here, hovering over this cancellation sign, you see how it puts a 1 there. I'm going to hit the 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. This allows you to indicate different things. I usually use this to keep track of how long durations last on my spells and other activities. That way, I'm keeping track and I know when the duration runs out and that spell ends, should the fight be long enough. There's also your settings bubble here, where you could change your name. And then when you save that, the nameplate down there will shift. You can also look over the different bars here. So if I were to put in like 12 here, it'd create a separate bar for AC. You can also create a red bar here for any other number you need to know offhand for your character. And then there's also the token aura. So this is an aura around your token based on whatever radius it would give you. There are some auras that create, say, a 15-foot. Then you can change if it is a circle, a square, and then what color you would like. So we'll go blue with this one. And I'll do a 20, not 290, but 20-foot square here. And when I save it, you can see the auras appear. Things like paladin auras that stretch out 10 feet, and eventually 15 feet, you can see what's in your aura of effect. That way, you know how they're going to be adjusted as things move along. But this is another thing that you can play with your token. As something that I had forgotten to mention before moving into mount combat. With that, we are going to be wrapping up this video here. As always, if you have any questions that any of these videos in the playlist did not answer, please go to our questions chat in the public folder. And from there, you can ask your question, and someone will be available to help you at some point in the future. Please enjoy your time here at Embers. We've worked very hard to make it a fun place to play D&D, and I hope to see you around. Peace.